Well, if there was a contest in St. Louis as to who is the most interesting person, I think Shannon Lichti would definitely be in the lead. This woman fascinates me.
And for so many reasons. And then I find out on top of it, she's the casting director for the Fashion Week in St. Louis.
And director of St. Louis Fashion Week.
So what is that like? Do you go walk down the street and see people and say, hey, I want to cast you on that Fashion Week?
No, I work with a live magazine and we do an open casting call. And basically people come to me, which makes life easier. So we have...
models? Or
models,
just,
yeah, models, as well as people that aren't signed with agencies, but generally speaking, people that want to be a model or professional models come and we'll do a casting call.
But here's the thing. We are not here to talk to
I know, that's
Shannon
that could be a whole interview in itself.
It could be, and it will be.
What we're here to talk about is her fascinating travel career.
Well, she started Limitless Planet. How long ago?
In 2011.
2011. And where were you when you came up with that concept?
When I came up with the concept, it was 2004, and I was in Kenya in the Masai Mara, in a tent.
What is the concept?
In a tent.
What's the concept?
The concept is if you don't mind me saying.
Stay out of this.
A travel agency that gives personal attention and creates it like it's an event, like an event coordinator, right?
How does that work? How does that work?
So basically, it's this tour agency that what we do is we talk to individuals and say, what is your dream trip? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What is a perfect day on vacation look like for you? And then we construct that perfect trip. So if you're a diver, we make sure that you're going diving, and we make sure that there are reefs around you. If you're a hiker, we make sure you're doing some sort of trekking.
So you take a personal touch and plan the entire trip for a group? I mean, from corporate down to the individual, I would assume.
That's right, from corporate down to individual.
And anywher on the planet.
Anywhere on the planet.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, we're not going to talk about that either.
What?
No. Shannon Lichti created this small boutique travel agency. It's down in Cherokee, on Cherokee Street?
Correct.
Okay. And now she's taken that concept to St. Louis and created walking tours using the same love and care, the same attention. How did you do that?
Yeah, so the company obviously started from international travel, and when I moved back to St. Louis a few years ago, I realized that there was nothing on this high educational level really available that people could get that in-depth history and really come walking away. I mean, it's always been my opinion that a guide can, if you have someone showing you the nooks and crannies of various cities, that it can really transform the city.
Absolutely.
So what I thought is
complete difference.
Exactly.
Our daughter read all about Disney, so we go to Disneyland and she goes, did you know this is where Walt proposed to his wife up in this tower? And it's just like
adds amazing dimension to the story.
Exactly. Right. So history's boring unless you have a great storyteller is really what it comes down to. So I was doing all of these private tours worldwide, and I thought, why am I not doing it in my hometown? So that was kind of the concept. And so now we're, like you said, working with individuals and corporate groups and creating an experience here in St. Louis and the surrounding areas to fit the bill for that group or
and
a person.
You hired top historians for each area, like Central West End, Soulard,
How'd you
Lafayette
find
Square.
those people?
It was a process.
Casting.
Yeah, exactly. It was a process. Of course, the interviewing is really on the street and tell me what you know and that sort of thing. There were a few things that are important when you're looking for a historian, a guide. You need to know the difference between the story that's been going on in St. Louis for so many years and what the actual fact is.
That's
the story
great,
could be true. You don't know.
We do have a lot of urban legends in this town.
Absolutely.
Everyone in St. Louis thinks that everything was invented at the World's Fair.
Right.
The 1904 World's Fair. And probably nothing was. We have no way of knowing. So I named some of the neighborhoods that you focus on. Soulard, Central West End. Can you elaborate? I know South Grand is on the list.
Sure. So we do Benton Park.
Okay.
We do Cherokee Street. We do both the antique side of Cherokee as well as we're doing a tipsy tour. So it has a little booze involved. Bar hopping on the west side of Cherokee.
Then you don't have to get the facts right.
Exactly. No one will remember, right? We do a Beer Barons tour through Benton Park. Nice. We do the mansions in the Central West End. We do South Grand. We do one that's not necessarily necessarily focused on St. Louis, but is really interesting. And that's the old Bevo Mill, which is now Little Bosnia.
Okay. Yeah.
That is like going to Bosnia without a passport. So you hear about, I mean, this is a neighborhood. Right. All of these are neighborhoods. And so
you go to Stari Grad?
I'm sorry?
Stari Grad.
Exactly.
Yeah, that little restaurant across from Bevo Mill, owned by a Bosnian couple. I don't think they speak English.
That's the old world style, and the new world style is like the Bosma Gold. You know, it's
right.
Yeah, so that Bosnian tour is really about Bosnia. You learn the history of Bosnia. You learn about the war in Bosnia in the 90s, the genocide that existed, the conflict of religion and ethnicity. Wow. And then going around and having a little Bosnian sweets. But the tour guides are Bosnian. We're working with the Bosnian Media Group on that.
I think, is it true that St. Louis has the largest Bosnian concentration in the United States?
That is correct. And it's the largest outside of Bosnia.
Why?
Well, you have to go on the tour and learn about the immigration.
Joy, you are actually asking somebody who knows the answer to that question, because in addition to everything else she does, it's on my list here, she is on the Junior Board of International Institute of St. Louis, an agency that assists refugees in their relocation to the United States.
How about that?
That is correct.
This woman does it all.
That is casting also. Putting the country together with the person.
That has to be another interview as well.
Well, that came about because when I moved back to St. Louis, I had been abroad for 12 years, and I thought,
Joy's been abroad all her life.
I know, I'm abroad.
There you go. And it was really, how am I going to get this international connection here in St. Louis? And I've always been treated really, really well and have had fantastic luck and lots of friends abroad that showed me my way through Egypt and Burma and you name it, China, Russia, you name it. So it's the least I can do when I come back to my home city and people that have been living in refugee camps to show them around my town and give them that same sort of friendship that I received abroad.
That's wonderful.
Well,
There's a great work.
Who is your the biggest audience for this? Is it the people, the tourists from out of town, or here
St.
in
Louis?
St. Louis?
It's right here in St. Louis, actually. Currently, we do have out-of-town guests that call us, and we arrange private tours for them. Or if we have something going on that weekend, we'll recommend that tour. A lot of times, those out-of-towners request private. But our biggest
right here
poll has been right in our backyard.
And St. Louis just this past week was voted in the top 10 best staycation cities in America. Did you know that?
No, but I think that that's absolutely true, and I know that it's one of the most, if not the most, affordable vacations for the whole family, because there's so many free attractions.
We would be remiss if we didn't ask you this. Where would you in the world prefer to spend an afternoon?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I have two favorite places on the planet. One is East Africa, and there's nothing better. I'm an animal advocate and an outdoor kind of girl. So one is on safari in East Africa. Okay. It's not like what you heard in the news with the lion attacking the woman in the car or anything like that, right?
Okay.
These animals are wild. They're in the wild. There's no fence. You're watching both life and death in the same afternoon. It's really astounding. Amazing. And the other place, which has been on the news quite recently a lot, obviously, is Nepal. I have some crazy connection to Nepal. I love it there. And it's just a mind-blowing place that I will never forget the first time I landed there. And there's so many people and cows and bicycles and deities on the street. And it's hard to not, especially your first time, it's hard to not walk around with your eyes bulging and your mouth hanging low,
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Is it hotter than St. Louis?
It's not actually. It's in a valley of the largest mountain range on the planet. So it can be hot, but it can also be very, very cold to where you're wearing stocking caps and such.
Go to limitlessplanetstl.com. And your blog, you have a blog there. Just reading that blog, you learn so much about Shannon. If not for nothing else, just to get to know Shannon Lichti, go there. But that's where you'll find the walking tours as well. And considering how busy you are and everything you do, I very much appreciate you sharing this with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And we look forward to having you guys on our Soulard walking tour.
That's right. We're doing that. That's the first one we're doing. And it's just the first. We'll be doing them all eventually. And today we are here courtesy of Abusi Maselli.
Thank you to them through their generosity, continuously working to provide the individual coverage you require. Abusi Michelli Insurance. They handle commercial, life, and health insurance. Contact Tina Michelli at 314-832-6667.